Okay. Whoa. I think we're live.
We made it.
Kind of. So
Well,
I don't know what the problem is. We're having trouble bringing our guest in. We do have him in the green room. Um, but yeah, we've had a lot of problems with this software bringing him in and we don't really know why. So thank you for being patient. Um, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
We just say hello to all the people.
Yes.
It's going to take too long to say everyone. So, hello, everyone.
Yes,
We're
yes,
glad you're
yes.
here.
We may still be having some slight audio issues with our guest, but hopefully it'll be good.
We're just going to roll with
We're
it
gonna roll with it.
because we have lots of stuff to talk about. And
So
he has to go bowling. So,
yes. So without further ado,
do you want to roll the at least credits?
no.
No, just bring them
Let's
in.
just go
Let's
right
just
into
do
it.
it. Okay.
We're just gonna cut all
All
the.
right. It's happening.
It's we're gonna bring in. I guess I should switch to this one, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna bring in the one, the only, the Professor Travel.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey,
Howdy, y'all. How you doing?
doing well. I was doing good, and then technology, but
Technology.
Also, for
So
those
fun.
who are watching, just so you know, the man on screen is not Kimbra and Matt.
I
It,
mean,
it's it's Scott and the cat, though.
yes,
There we go.
yes.
So
Maybe the cat's name is Matt or Kimbra, and I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, how are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great despite technology. How are you all?
Uh,
Glorious.
glorious, glorious.
How
Because
can
the
I
clothes
could?
here at work.
Yes, I can only be better with taking a cruise tomorrow, which is exactly what I'm doing.
You're taking a cruise tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I love you. Tomorrow. You're only a
Wow,
day away.
wow,
Yes, I am going on the Carnival Panorama for 7 nights, heading down to Mexico.
nice. Okay, I
Did
knew
you know
that.
that?
Well, I didn't know that. You said that he had a cruise that he wanted to talk about, but I didn't realize it was like tomorrow.
I knew that.
Literally.
That is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
In fact, this entire year, I'm going to be going on a just whirlwind of cruises. So I have some important information to share as well. So I'm transitioning out of my role as in an administrative capacity. So I'm no longer the director of student services, but I'm going to be moving into full-time faculty work moving forward. And so as part of that, I'm going to be on sabbatical for most of this year.
Cool.
So for that, we've already planned out five, count them five, yes, five cruises, and so I'm going to be looking at potentially doing even more coming up. So can't wait to share a lot of information with you guys. But you may also ask yourself, like, how can I afford to do all of this stuff? You know, especially if I'm only on sabbatical right now. And so part of that is with casino offers that I've been getting over the last couple of years as we've been going on various different ships, whether that's Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean. So there's lots of stuff to talk about. I want to share it all with you. I don't want to hijack your show, so if you have any questions, let me know.
It's like he is so prepared.
Right? Way
He
more
just
than
like
we are because
rolls
I took
right into
notes.
it.
we can't
I
even
took
get him on
notes.
screen. So, well, first of all, I have to ask you if you appreciated the little thumbnail because
It was amazing. I actually showed my partner Kevin. He's like, "Oh my gosh, that's hilarious." It's like,
and of course this is the gambler. I think most of our audience probably is familiar with that. And then this morning it looks better shrunken down, but yeah, I did that in not Photoshop exact. Go away. Not Photoshop, but art program in about 5 minutes. But I was very pleased with the outcome of that. So
I was just thoroughly chuckling. It was amazing.
so yeah, so we did bring you on primarily to talk about gambling on cruises because it's a topic we don't really know much about. Although
Although
this,
I'm real tempted
I
now.
mean, you won on the last
I
cruise, like
did.
$80 or something like
Yeah.
that, right? So
And that was easy.
so so all right. So first of all, let me ask you this. Okay, so we're
Sure.
gambling on a cruise ship. Um, when you gamble on a cruise,
Yes.
uh, do you typically win money, lose money, break even?
Um, I look at it the same way I look at going to Disneyland. I bring a certain budget with me and I say, this is the amount I'm expecting to lose. Okay? So go into the mindset that you're going to expend money to have fun. That's the way I look at it. If you lose that money, great. You know what? You've had your fun. Get out of the casino while you have a chance. But do not, under any circumstance, it's all about money management too. So if you're going to do stuff like this, just, have fun, expect to lose money, and if you come home with any, that's even better.
Like a lot of things that are fun in life, you have to be able to keep control of those things, or what is fun can become destructive.
Exactly.
But if you can control it, then it can be fun. But what are your expectations? Like, I know you're playing with limited budget, but like, do you, on average, do you usually, like, is there a normal scenario? Do you normally lose the budgeted money that you have and just say that's what I paid for the fun, or do you win enough to make it kind of like, oh, sometimes I win and come off ahead, or how does that normally play out?
So my attitude towards this is actually very different than that. The way I look at it, and I knew this from going in, because I've been gambling for years. I've been gambling since I was 21, and I've been enjoying it every time. And I'm only like an hour flight away from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very easy to just jump over there, do stuff, come away. So I had years and years of practice, but one of the things I've been doing is looking at this as an investment. I know that sounds kind of weird, but follow me on this, okay? If I take the time to meet the casino host, understand what the comp system is, and then if I am spending money, whether I'm losing or winning, it's really not going to matter. It's just how much am I gambling? How much time am I spending in the casino? That's another thing too. So not to get away from the idea of doing shore excursions or anything that you guys want to do. That's during the day. But after dinner and in the nighttime, this is another great activity that you can do if you're just not maybe into the shows, or maybe you want to take on some and just have a little luck and fun and do some stuff with it. The last several cruises though, we've been up, and so that's been really exciting about that whole process. I was just telling Kimbra, we went to I live in Southern California, just so everybody knows. We went to Las Vegas for my husband's 40th birthday, and we went like extremely limited budget because I was like, oh, it's the holidays, I don't want to spend a lot. But first off, Vegas was empty because nobody was flying because of the craziness that was going on with Southwest Airlines, and so a lot of places were empty. And so we were walking down the street, we saw tickets for Adele selling for $600 a ticket, and I'm like, that's impossible. We can't afford that. And so we end up going over to Paris, and I'm like, you know what? If we win big, we'll go to Adele. Okay, how about that? And we started to win a lot.
Oh.
And so I'm looking at my husband. I'm like, so it's Adele? And he's like, because you have to understand, we were originally supposed to see Adele on our wedding, and she got sick and had to cancel the show. And so we just kind of put it out of our imagination that we were going to go see her anytime in the future. And all of a sudden, we're in Vegas and it says, oh, Adele's playing tonight over here at the Coliseum. There are tickets that are available. And so we end up having an amazing time. And it was just fantastic.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. That's right. And so, okay, so you guys gamble for fun on the cruises, and then it's also an investment because of the comp that you get. Like you mentioned, one of the ways you can afford to go on all these cruises is because you're getting amazing deals. And I know, like, from talking to people that do gamble, like, they get these awesome deals, and you're like, well, look at this normal cruise book rate, and they're like, yeah, look at this cruise book rate. So my question is, do you know the magic number? Like, how much money you have? Is it how much you spend? Is it how much you win? Is it how much you lose? Is it like, do you know any of that math, or is it a little bit like the YouTube algorithm and a big mystery there?
It is constantly changing, but there are two things that you can keep in mind. Number one, if it's a slot game or a video poker or something like that, those are easy to track because when you put your card into the machine, it actually tells you how many points you have. That's very easy to track. You can just go right over to the casino host and say, hey, how many do I need for a certain comp? Like what do I need for that? That's easy to track. But when you're at a table, they're looking at a bunch of different things. So I do a lot of blackjack and I do a lot of craps. Those are the two games that I really play the most. Although I sometimes play baccarat, which is also kind of fun too. So when I'm at the games, at the tables, the pit boss or the person who's like they're monitoring the games, they're looking for how much am I spending on the average every hour. How long am I staying there? Usually my partner, Kevin, he can close out the casino. Like, he'll be there all night until it closes, and then at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, he comes back to the room with a handful of chips, and we're all, hey, let's order room service. That's great. So it does depend, but one of the things I would recommend to anybody who wants to do something like this is one of the very first things you want to do when you get on the ship, go to the casino, speak with the casino host, and get a card from them, or alternatively, they may just say, hey, you know, your Sail and Sea card, that can also act as your card too, as long as you put it into the machine and monitor it gets tracked. Or if you're at the table, just hand that over to them. They'll scan it really quick and make sure that they're tracking you, and that way you're being what they call rated. And so as you get rated, they're able to monitor those things. So based on my gambling from our recent Greek cruise, which was on Norwegian, that was in August. They're already sending me cops for free inside cabins. Again, not that big, but this, for example, is something that my partner got. And so we've only done one Carnival cruise back in 2017 at the end. This cruise that we're going on tomorrow is the Carnival Panorama, so that's our second Carnival cruise. But they've been sending us stuff like this for the last several years. Free balcony, drinks included, $150 onboard credit, just like all kinds of different things free of charge. So it's like, you know, I knew my partner hit it big when, like, the first night they're sending us cookies, the second night they're sending us a bottle of wine with our dinner, and he's only gambled a little bit so much. And I was like, oh, okay. Let's see here. Slots are the best way to earn casino. Yeah.
That's the question I was about to ask, but it looks like Captain Billy J already knows the answer. He's reading my mind. Does this seem to be accurate for you as well?
I think he's correct on the casino comps for the slots, because they do have slot tournaments as well, and they want people to go to those tournaments, so they'll send you out like free. Hey, we have a slot tournament going on the West Coast or on the East Coast. If you want to go to it, we'll send you a free cabin for that. Video poker also earns pretty well. He's right. Table games are really a little bit tricky because you want to see what your point values are, and honestly, do you trust the person behind the counter there? Are they really the ones who are being able to address, like, how much time you're doing, how much on the average gambling you're doing? Right. That's the kind of stuff you have to be a little bit more trusting. But at least with what he's saying there, with the comps for the slots and the comps for the video poker, you're able to track those and monitor those pretty tightly. Other games,
machines are kind of the way to go if you want to have it tracked.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, Mom. They said the coin pushers don't do anything for you. That's what my mom plays, is the coin pushers.
I like the coin pushers too. So.
But they are entertaining, though.
They are.
If you're there for just entertainment purposes, great. Have a lot of fun. I'm looking at it from an investment point of view, and it's like, if I'm going to be on there, do I just want to waste money throwing coins in, or do I want to actually see if it can get me like a comp room? I mean, like, from your perspective, when you're looking at this from, you know, investment, you also look at, you know, going to various different cruise lines and spending loyalty on those cruise lines. Mm-hmm. The number of cruises that you take, the number of nights that you have on a cruise, that's getting you comps as well. This is just a different version of comps. And there's some great resources out there to look at this on YouTube. One of my favorites is a gentleman he's actually an employee of Royal Caribbean. He's on I think right now he's on the Wonder of the Sea. His name is Chris Wong. And he is a casino manager on there. And he does a great job on YouTube just spelling out a little bit about how that whole process works. So I definitely recommend looking at any of his videos. And then there's also a website you can go into called yourcomps.com. And that could set you up with any number of cruise lines that are out there, including Virgin, MSC, and a couple other ones too.
So to your knowledge or experience, do certain cruise lines comp better than other cruise lines?
Yeah.
Obviously, Disney doesn't because they don't have a casino.
No, they do not. I will say this. I think, again, this is just my opinion based on my experience so far. I think Carnival comps the best. Mm-hmm. They're literally throwing us free rooms hand over fist, and we've only been on them once.
That's
We've
crazy.
we've
Yeah.
been on Norwegian a couple of times. They're giving us a couple of inside cabins here and there. Royal Caribbean's giving us. Uh, they give us either a choice of casino rates or um, like free inside or ocean view cabin, and we've only been on a couple with them. So I think at least from what I can see, Carnival seems to be the way to go if you're looking for thongs.
So let me ask you this question, and I'm going to call on your professorness here. Uh, Going by, if you don't factor in the pleasure that you get from being in the casino, do you think on the average person with if they take advantage of these comps, do you think that they break even with the gambling? Do you think that they come out ahead with the gambling, or do you think that they end up a little under with the gambling, or do you think it's just variable?
I think it's variable, but I think it also depends on how much you want to gamble. I've, I mean, I see people who are there playing like penny slots, and I see people who are there slapping down $100, $1,000 chips, and I'm like, when I see stuff like that. But it's your comfort level too, and it's also dependent upon your budget.
Yeah.
There's so many things to consider while gambling. You know, we all do dice games. I felt this was just the next natural evolution of that process. Um, so I just think it's one of those things where you gamble with whatever your comfort level is, but when a person really loses is when they run out of money and then they have to go to the ATM in order to get more money. I feel like
Right.
that's taking it a step beyond. I usually, what I'll usually do ahead of time is I'll usually go to my bank before I leave on the trip. I'll get my budget then and only then, and then I'll go into the ship. I'll put the money in the safe, and then I will only retrieve like maybe $200 a day or something like that. So I'm making it count, but it's not overly excessive.
Now they bring you like free drinks and stuff
Absolutely.
while you're
Yep.
gambling, so that's
Yep.
that's another thing to factor into it. If you like to drink, then you're getting
I'm really
some of
getting
that.
convinced that this is something I
I
need to
bet
do.
you are.
But you know what? This actually does say something to the type of cruiser that you are as well. For example, this is spoken to me in a way that I didn't think of before. Because I wouldn't necessarily want to go on a Disney cruise now, nor would I want to go on a Viking cruise, because I think both of those have and even river cruises for the most part. I don't think that they offer casinos on any of those cruises. So for me, I just think that that's not the right fit for me. And I think like Gary Bembridge has said it before on his cruise casts. He's like, you know what? Sometimes you just have to find what's best for you. It's not necessarily that one cruise is better than another. It's just what's best for you. What I'm looking for on a cruise is I want to have that entertainment piece, and that's really good. But when you do factor in, say, for example, what the cost of a beverage package is,
Right.
if you're getting free drinks in the casinos, that's pretty good. Is the free drinks only with Carnival Cruise Line or others? No, I've seen all of them actually. Every single like Royal, Norwegian, and Carnival. We have been on Celebrity before as well, and we've been on Princess before. They haven't offered us anything as of yet, but again, we've only been on there once, and so I don't know that we were really on their radar. But we clearly made gambling efforts on the Carnival cruises, the Norwegian cruises, and the Royal Caribbean cruises.
Now, gambling within the continental United States, like Las Vegas and whatnot, is a very regulated thing, so that everything is as fair as gambling is expected to be. Um, do you know if the cruise lines are regulated in any way? Are they just self-regulated, or have you found any discrepancies there? Or
Oh no, they're not regulated. Let's be very clear about that. They are self-regulated by themselves. Um, and so if they say they kick you out of the casino for whatever reason, you're kicked out of the casino. Um, and so your only recourse is, writing a sternly worded letter to customer service and seeing if that addresses the concerns or questions to you. But again, just like with any casino, they have the right to refuse service if you're doing things that are kind of shady, if you're bothering other patrons, if you're counting cards and they don't want you to be in there. There are so many different things that can get you kicked. But if you're just sitting there having a fun time and not minding your own business and or playing with the rest of the people at the table, then you're fine.
now, when I think of regulated, I'm thinking it from the other perspective. I'm thinking, is this is this gambling machine giving me fair odds, or can it be, you know, manipulated to give me slimmer odds of winning, that sort of thing. I don't know if that's how I picture when I hear casino regulation. That's how I picture it, but I don't know if that's a realistic picture of it.
So I've seen enough videos from individuals who look at gambling on cruise ships to have enough confidence to say that I don't think they would do anything to modify the machines or rig the machines. They don't want their casinos shut down, so I don't think they would even risk that. What is happening, however, on cruise ships, and this is something that you can see, is if you look at a casino on land and you're looking at, say, a craps table, where a 12 on the field, which is one of the numbers that you can, or one of the areas you can roll on, pays 3-1 if you roll like boxcars, or you roll a 12. On the ship, if you look at the same layout, it may only pay 2-1. Or if you're playing video poker, maybe it pays like 6-5 as opposed to 9-7 or something like that. So I mean, there are differences if you know where to look at the statistical data. But that's really all that I would say about that. And of course, the casino always has the odds. It's just when you play different games, you can kind of maybe temper those odds a little bit if you are using appropriate strategies to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, I know enough people who seem to have had positive experiences on cruise ships and casinos to it must be at least somewhat fair for a casino, because
Yeah.
people do win. Like you said, that if nobody won, people would stop patronizing it, so that would not be a winning strategy for the casino. Speaking of strategies, I I know if you're pulling the one arm bandit, that's you're just out to the fates. But if you are playing like not backgammon, you are playing craps
Blackjack.
or
Yeah.
blackjack
Yeah.
or roulette. Like there are some statistical strategies that you can utilize to bump your odds up. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, there are card strategies as well as money management strategies. So you're doing two different things here. With card strategies, you're looking at, okay, in blackjack, for example, if someone lays down a high card on you, the next instinct is to say, okay, well the next card's going to be lower. It's going to be like a low card, high card, low card, high card, and it's kind of how the mentality goes on something like that. And the more high cards that are laid down, or the more, or even reverse that, the more low cards that are laid down, the odds are that a high card is going to come up pretty soon. So you can work within the scope of that. Just play with those statistics. I don't play roulette at all. I feel like roulette is just completely random. With craps, I feel like some people know how to hold the dice in a certain way that when they throw it, it will more often than not give them the numbers that they're looking for.
Oh wow.
But not always. It's not like they're loaded dice. You can't do that with the casino. If a dice flies off the table, they immediately like a laser. They like, where's it on the floor? Get it quickly. So that type of stuff. Those types of cheating methods are banned by casinos, and they won't tolerate that. But there are people who are very good at counting cards, or there are people who are very good at looking at cards. That's why if you see games that, like for example with blackjack, you might see a game that's a single deck blackjack. That's really, really favorable to the players because there are only so many aces in a deck. There are only so many face cards in a deck. If you're seeing the other people in front of you get those cards, you have a better idea of what's coming up than just going in completely blind.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And the money management strategy is true as well. Some people uh, some people don't have a money management strategy. I personally have a 1-2-3 strike strategy. So it's like I'll whatever my normal amount is, then I'll double that amount, and then I'll put one more unit on the third try, and then I'll go back to the first level as well. Because I don't want to make it go too high. Because if I win, big, that's great, but I don't want to lose big either. So
Right.
I kind of monitor where I'm at on my money management strategy, and that seems to work pretty well for me at least.
Okay. And
And if there's anybody, by the way, if there's anybody on the on the March cruise, on the group cruise, on the Fintastic Cruise that wants to know more about that, you can find me in the casino because I will definitely be there too.
I might have to sit at the
I
table.
was gonna say I'm gonna follow you and Kevin around and like just
I I can
partake,
Yeah, I
learn.
can tell you that I know how to play blackjack like on a just a personal level or something, sitting around with friends or on a computer game or something like that. But when I see those casino games, like the table games in the casinos, like they're intimidating. Like I feel like I don't know the etiquette, I don't know the rules. I'm afraid
Well, that's like
to play them,
when we were
really.
watching Dewey. I was
Yeah.
like I feel like they were staring at me like you shouldn't be watching this.
It was
You know what?
it's
Cruise ships are actually really good for this because they want to encourage you to gamble. So sometimes when you go in there and there's nobody at a table, if you just go over there and start perusing, they'll say, "Hey, do you know how to play this game? Would you like us to teach you?" And they're very, very open to showing you how that process works. Even with like, sometimes they won't even have you spend money. They'll be like, this is how you roll. This is what you do.
That's
Here are
kind
the
of what
numbers that you
happened
have.
when we
Yeah,
talked
it's.
to Adam
hmm.
I
that
think
one
they're
time.
very understandable on that.
Okay, that's good to know. So you've been on, let's see, you've been on obviously Carnival. Now it's going to be twice.
Yeah.
You said Norwegian, you said Royal,
Celebrity and
Celebrity,
Princess.
and Princess.
Yeah.
Do you have a casino per cruise line that you prefer? And do you have a casino per ship that you've been on that you prefer? Are all casinos equal or are they all very different?
I think the newer ships have well. First off, the newer ships have a much larger casino,
Hmm.
and so I'm very excited about that. The older ships, the ones that are not completely refurbished yet, like we're considering possibly doing the Carnival Miracle next month. We're considering maybe doing a 2 week cruise to Hawaii and back. Um,
Nice.
so if that is the case, then that is a very old ship. I think that was built in like 2005, and it's was refurbished maybe in 2015 or something like
That'll
that.
get you set for the Pride. It's the same
Same class.
same
I,
class, the Pride. It's a Spirit
um,
class.
yeah, it's actually I like the size of it. It's not too big, not too small. It's got that good. Hey, I'm just kind of here feel, and yeah, it's the casino on board. It reminds me a lot like the decor on board reminds me a lot of like Carnival or Mardi Gras or something like
Oh yeah.
that.
Love the decor.
There we go.
You either
So
love it or hate it, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was one of my favorite things about that ship is the big tacky decor
And the
everywhere.
giant Alice in Wonderland sculptures in
The
the one
Frankenstein,
club, Frankenstein
the
bar.
main
Yeah,
dining room with the grapes all over the ceiling.
yeah.
Loved it.
We know people who
it's
hate it,
finished.
and we know people who love it. So
Well, and then here's the other thing. Now we're also going on this year. We're going to be going on the Mardi Gras. We're going to be going on the celebration. You guys are also going on the celebration as well. And
Mhm.
so, from my perspective, it's good to compare and see. Okay, well, which ones do we like? I I do tend to like newer ships just because it's got that U-car smell to it. And it's like,
Sure.
we were not that long ago on the Norwegian Bliss over here in Long Beach, and it is stunningly beautiful and like hardwood floors, and it's just really crisp. It's they've got it down to a science on that ship, and it really felt like it too. And it's just like a brand new car rolling off the lot. So sometimes you want to experience that, but sometimes when you also get into those older casinos, you'll also have really good customer service. You'll have those pit bosses and the dealers who are just really super friendly and they just want to talk. They don't like treat this like a job. If they treat it more like, hey, we're having a relationship here. Let's have fun. Let's just schmooze and have a great time.
Cool, cool. I'm trying to open up for you to, because you know how I am.
I know. I have questions about like the slot machines because that's all I know. I don't understand all that table stuff.
That's okay.
Um, so like every time, most of the time, I put like $20 in and just like lose it. Um, is it normal to like jump from machine to machine, or do people usually just like sit at the same machine and just play?
It depends on whether or not you're a superstitious person. And sometimes people are very superstitious, and they'll be like, I don't want anybody on either side of me. Don't and they'll like give you the sour eye if you try to look at them. Um, and so it's like, well, it just again it depends. So there's nothing that says that you have to stay at a machine past when you win or past when you lose. There's nothing that says if a machine pays out right now, like if I win $500 off a machine and walk away, There's nothing that says you can't walk up and like immediately win $1,000 or something like that. It's just with slot machines, it tends to be luck of the draw, and those algorithms that they build into the machines, those are really unflawable. Unflawable, is that even a word? Although I guess all words are made up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
at some point.
so yeah, exactly. So but I don't like. I see sometimes there are casinos that are out there that say we have the loosest slots on the strip or something like that. I'm like, how do you know? Like,
Right.
how do you really know? It's like I don't really think they can really control that so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's probably no regulation on who can say what a loose slot is. You know, it's like free safe sunscreen. And anybody can put it on there. It doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Yeah, what does new and improved mean? I mean,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like
exactly. Yes.
I don't know, Kimbra, if that answered your question, but
I
if
mean,
you
yeah, I just feel like the very few times that I've been in the casino, I sit there and I put in my $20 and like I just lose it in like
you
5
just like walk
minutes or
away,
so, and everybody else
but
is just like sitting there playing and playing and playing, and I'm like, are you like there for hours or do you like jump around?
yeah, and
Generally,
that's the thing.
generally,
Sometimes I am. Yeah.
I think
Here's what I will say. The major difference though is if you have a card from the casino host, or you're putting your card in before you start gambling, you're getting rated. So it's not just a waste of money on your part. Now you turn this into an investment all of a sudden, and now the ship's tracking how you're gambling. So sometimes maybe you'll get a discount, and sometimes you won't. It just depends. I would say on Carnival though, it seems like even with a smaller budget, you tend to get more free stuff.
I wonder if they, like, if you're new to a cruise line, I wonder if they will entice you more in the beginning if you gamble, and then if you're, then it takes longer to get those comps once you get going, or if they're just like they just want to like they're trying to hook you, you know what I'm saying? Or if that's consistent while you sail and play on their cruise line.
I tend to think they want to take care of the people that are
There's always that
they're feeding
competition.
money. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
because
always
again,
that pull to the other line. So
we met a person on the Norwegian Bliss, and he doesn't cruise that often. But what he does do is he's from back east, and he's going to a lot of these Native American casinos that are over there, and he's gambling there. And they gave him free cruises as part of his loyalty with MGM, which was the owner of that specific location. And
okay.
so, as part of that, he got to go on the Norwegian Bliss. His points were recognized on the Bliss, so it's they have kind of a copacetic relationship between some of the land casinos as well as the ships.
That's interesting because we have Seminole Hard Rock Casino
Hmm.
right by us. This is kind of funny. I could see it being a very superstitious driven thing with especially with stuff like the slots. And I mean, I'm a very rational thinking person, and I'm very try and control superstitions in my head. But I could see myself even falling to a little bit of superstition, even though I would know, like if you were like, "Do you really believe that?" I'd say no, but I'm still doing it. Kind
But
of
you
a
know
thing.
what? Here's something else that kind of goes along with what Kevin was just saying. If if I'm on a winning streak and I feel like I'm doing well, and I gotta pee, I don't necessarily like my instincts say I don't want to get up right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just one of those things. I have sat there with a full bladder before, going, I need to get up, but I'm really doing well. I don't know what to do. I don't want to stop it because if I stand up and walk away, that can mix up the cards in the deck. Because now all of a sudden there's less people, so the division of cards is being played out amongst different people, and blah blah blah. It's crazy.
So maybe that's why they give you all the free drinks, so that you have to go to the bathroom, and then it messes up your mojo.
Oh, I don't know. I think they want you to gamble as much as possible.
Well, and the more
Oh, the more it mixes it
uh,
up, though.
they
Yes, yeah.
lubricate the brain, the more likely you are to spend more money too. I would think. It seems like having, like you said, having that set amount, like this is what I'm going to spend on the cruise on gambling, either a per day or a per cruise thing, and when it's gone, done. And you have to really hold yourself to that to make sure you don't get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, and actually, one of the strategies that I used to utilize is I would have one of my friends who doesn't gamble stand behind me, and so if I was ever in the position where, like, let's say I'm just playing with red and green chips, which are like $5 and $25 chips, and I got into a black chip, which is a $100 chip, I would just give them the chip over my shoulder and say, please hold on to this. And then I'm still gambling with my own initial income, and if I lose that, then great, I got whatever they had me save.
Now, if I was that person,
Mhm.
and I took
Are you
those
saying you
black
want me to
chips,
give you money?
could I just go cash those in? Yeah. I don't know what
You
you're
could.
talking about, Scott. Have another drink. You didn't give me any black chips.
What was that? Oh my goodness.
You know, the lighting's not good in this casino. That was a red chip.
Oh, was it? Okay. Sorry about that. No, I'm sorry. I didn't even interrupt. I apologize. But you know, these casinos are also connected with everything on the ship. So whereas you get the onboard credit, they also have connections with the ship. So that way, if you're doing really well in the casinos, hey, guess what? At your dinner table, have a free bottle of champagne or wine. All of a sudden, they're saying, hey, we'd like to invite you to one of the specialty dining free of charge. I mean, it's pretty awesome when stuff like that happens. And it makes you feel like,
Cool.
hey, you know what? I did pretty well tonight. That's kind of neat.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that sort of thing happened. So they
Yeah.
really treat you like a high roller.
I've now got 3 goals for this next cruise.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is have really awesome hair with Scott.
Okay. Okay.
And that one's definitely going to happen.
Okay.
The second one is play some D&D,
Okay.
run by Scott.
Okay.
And the third one,
Is that one going to happen?
yeah,
Okay.
he said it was.
All
I
right.
can do that.
Yeah.
All
I,
right.
was, I wasn't sure who wanted to run. I'm like good with whoever wants to run. I like as far as a one shot goes, I could throw everybody into a like stadium and all of a sudden pass out characters and say, hey, here you go. We're gonna do like a Mortal Kombat type situation where everybody goes in and like starts to beat each other up. That's fine.
Well, I've just given you a task to fit in somewhere between your cruises. And the third
Pseudo
one,
fun.
Professors love getting homework, by the way. Thank you.
and the third one is to learn how to win money and free crap stuff with Scott.
Stuff.
Free-
Great. Yes.
No, I think what you meant to say was free craps stuff.
There
is
we
what
go.
you-
Craps stuff. Yes, we love craps. Craps is a great game.
I
Absolutely.
don't understand craps. I just know that if you roll 2 ones, it's called snake eyes, and it's a bad thing. Which is
Not
always,
necessarily.
oh, okay,
Not
because that's always
necessarily.
pulling me away. Because I'm like, no, snakes are good for me. So it does. Snake eyes isn't always bad.
Snake eyes and boxcars are not always bad. Sometimes, okay. So we'll have to have a craps seminar
Yes.
where I'll show you.
Yes.
Because usually on the come out roll, which is the first roll of the session, if you roll craps, which is usually 2, 3, or 12, that's not going to be a good point number, and everybody loses if they're betting on the initial come out roll. If you roll 7 or 11 on the initial come out roll, you get your money back. But after the point number, which is the number to be decided on that we want to try and target, once that's decided, you can roll whatever, as long as it's not a 7, you're fine. You can continue rolling. But there's a small area of the craps board called the field, where if you put money in there, and if you roll a 2, a 3, a 4, a 9, a 10, 11, or a 12, you win.
Oh,
Which sounds like a lot of really great odds, but those aren't the most average rolls. So usually the most average rolls are like 5, 6, 7, 8.
I mean, I can roll a lot of ones on a D20, Scott.
I was gonna say I roll d20s daily.
Oh,
No,
I critically fumble and fail all the time when I'm playing. I am the master of chopping off my own head with my axe, so it's sad but true.
That's awesome. Well, I think you may have convinced us to try and gamble on the
I mean,
on
here's
the
the
Mars
thing.
cruise a
I
little bit.
already won like $80 on my last cruise,
That was it. That was it.
and I wasn't even
And
like
that was like probably what, maybe a half an hour at the slot
it wasn't
machine?
even that long. Like I said, I put $20 in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I danced every time it played music. It was great. And I'm sure.
And that's sometimes why people do the slot machines is like, I just want that little bit of epinephrine or whatever is getting me there to hey, my brain's going happy because I'm seeing like, oh, I got the bonus shot or I got the bonus round or whatever. So that's why they put those in the first place, is to kind of stimulate your mind and make sure you're having happiness while you're doing
it worked. It worked. And then I started losing it, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to lose it all because I want to walk out knowing that I've done something good.
Mm-hmm.
And you were doing
Just being there is good.
like what was it, like 5 cents a spin?
Yeah,
or
I wasn't doing anything
something like
crazy.
I don't know. It was
But
20. I don't know what it was.
I won like $80.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for someone that's like never, only ever lost.
Well, I think you were ahead 60,
Fantastic.
right?
Well, I walked out 60 ahead, but I
Yeah.
won.
Right,
I
right.
played down some, yeah.
Yeah.
When we go there, we'll talk about what kind of a budget you brought, and we'll talk about how you could split that amongst the various different days that we're there to maximize the most time that you have. Because if everybody's losing on one night, you're like, you know what, let's just get out of here. Let's just go hit drinks. Let's just go to a show, whatever. You don't have to stay in the casino, but for the days that you are winning big, have fun, enjoy it, but still come out on top. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that.
Cool. Okay. What other questions do you have about gambling on a cruise? If anybody has questions in the comments, I haven't been able to read them, but if anybody has any questions, post those. And then, did you want to tell us more about your upcoming cruises, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure. So let me go to shipmates.com.
I'm gonna interrupt. We've got 2 comments here that I want to comment on. Dan says there's a weird noise in the back. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. Unfortunately, you just have to deal with it.
Yeah, sorry.
But
Sorry
that's
about
the
that.
only way we get to talk to Scott. So, and then Stacy said, I've gambled 100 times on Carnival Cruises and played for hours almost every day and have never gotten any concert offers at all.
Huh.
Now, I would ask Stacy this: do you actually have Are you being rated by the casino? Because that's important. You have to. One of the very first things you want to do when you go on the ship, go to the casino host on your ship and let them know, hey, my name is Stacy. I'm here to gamble. I would love to get rated. Tell me what I need to do. And usually they'll either print you out a separate card, or they'll say with your sale card, you can use that too, and that shouldn't be a problem. Do you earn at least 1,500 points on cruise?
Yeah, so
More?
that's Captain Billy J's response to Stacy. Is he earning at least 1,500 points on a cruise?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Stacy said his card is in a machine every time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way. Okay, so Stacy, if you're not getting comped, I would talk to the casino host and say, hey, I have been on like a billion cruises and I'm not getting anything. Do they, like, if they have your email address, they should be sending you stuff. Email and mail. Because we are being, like, I have to almost tell them to stop with how much stuff they're sending my way. So,
Well, Stacy is also about to get on a back-to-back cruises.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
This weekend. So, yeah, Stacy, go to the casino, like Scott's saying, and say, hey, I want to get comped. I don't ever get comped. Can you make sure I get comped? And then let us know what happens. So, I think we're gonna
specifically with the casino host.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have Stacy, and we'll see if Gino will come on after they get back, because I know he's gonna try scuba and stuff like that. So, just so you know, Stacy, you guys are coming on when you get back. We're not asking.
Take notes.
No, I'm just kidding. We are asking, but we're hoping he will come on.
So the upcoming cruises that I have listed for myself right now, I only have 5 on my docket, but I might do one every single month. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens with this. So right now, this weekend, I got the Carnival Panorama down to Mexico. Obviously, the Carnival Pride in March, that's coming up here. Carnival Celebration for me is in August, so right before you guys go.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're gonna just be like 2 ships passing in the night. How about
Right.
that? Then the Mardi Gras for there was some special event. I don't even remember what that was about later on the show.
I don't know.
But whatever, I'll remember it later. And then in December, at the end of the year, we're flying down to Sydney, Australia to go on the Carnival Splendor out of there to New Caledonia, where I get to see Kimbra's little creature. Lizard from New Caledonia! Yay.
I expect photos.
You
and
will.
let me just say, if you haven't booked the group cruise yet for March, there's one more reason, because the Professor Travel will be on that group cruise. It's going to be, there's so many amazing people that are going to be on that group cruise. You need to book it. So book it. Fintastictravel@gmail.com.
It's going to be a hoot. And a holler.
And I was going to say, and a nanny.
Let's see here. Does machine tell how many people play, like, I'm trying to think what you're asking about. I don't know if the machines are listing how many people have played. I know there are progressive slots if that's what you're talking about, and those continue to go up as people play them. I wasn't sure if you were saying because I don't think it'll. At least I haven't seen, or I haven't been paying attention. If there's something on the machine that says how many people have played this machine today, I haven't noticed that.
Doesn't
So,
let you know. Yeah, I'm sure the casino knows how many people have played on it.
oh
And
yeah, oh
all
yeah.
the statistics are quantified and whatnot. Okay, cool.
But also to Kimber, to your earlier question as well. Sometimes you just have those moments that you just like. I went to like on my birthday. I took a cruise over here on Royal Caribbean, um, Navigator of the Seas, and went to the casino one morning early. Threw some money in and immediately won $500 like on the first spin. I was like, okay, that's it. Bye. Go off to breakfast. So
Done.
it's like, so you can decide however long you want to be at a thing. Sometimes it's only a couple of seconds. Other times you can be there all night. It just depends on how much fun you're having. But I would say this: if you're not having fun, you don't want to stay there. Don't put yourself in a position where you're gambling your rent money or something like that. You know,
Don't
this
make
is an
it don't
investment.
make it your job. It shouldn't be your
Yeah.
side hustle. It should just be a thing you enjoy that sometimes give you perks.
Yeah, just have fun. And if people are there, if your friends are there with you as well, it's a great opportunity to just kind of socialize. Everybody, and if everybody wins, and everybody goes yay together. So it's like it's just like defeating a dragon. It's great. It's great camaraderie amongst friends.
Yeah.
Are there games that I know we jump back to cruise or to gambling now? Are there certain like unique games that you've only seen on one or two ships, or are they all pretty consistent? Like you find all these things on most ships.
I would say most ships have pretty standard games. There's usually a variance of poker. There's variants of blackjack, or they'll have like special little side bets. I've seen baccarat on a couple of ships. I've seen Pai Gow. I've seen three card poker. Um, I don't know. I really haven't seen. I haven't seen. Oh no, that was a. One time I saw War.
Really,
Yeah, it
I know
was.
how to play that game.
I do too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I play that with kids at work all the time.
it's an easy game, but when you're gambling money on it,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to put your money down on that.
Blackjack.
Another one I've seen on a couple of ships, but I haven't seen on all ships is the Big Wheel, which is the one that's that huge wheel that spins
Oh,
and
okay.
like has different amounts of dollars. That's all just luck anyways. So
Mhm.
I don't know if anybody's like into that. I'm not into purely luck games so much unless I want to get the little or something like that that happens. I'm more of a strategy person. So
Now, this is going to be a silly question from somebody that doesn't know anything about this topic, but um, the other thing that I think of when I think of gambling on a cruise ship is bingo.
mm.
Does bingo count towards comp stuff that you know of, or is that just a totally unrelated way to spend your money?
Well, first off, there's no such thing as a silly question, only silly people. And so I will say this.
It's silly wall.
Yeah, exactly. Um, anything that happens within the casino that can be comped, technically, um, it depends on how much you're taking away and how much the casino is losing. Um, they even have scratchers over at the cashier's area if you want to play scratchers. So I
Huh.
mean, there's a lot of different things that go on there. As far as the big money pushes or the grabs of the little prizes and stuff like that, I tend to think that's not rated. But wherever there's a casino host, wherever there's a pit boss, wherever there's a stick man, wherever there's one of those people, um, it just depends. Wheel of Fortune has some of the worst odds that I can see. That is true, actually. And here's a side note. Any casino what do you call it? Any theme-based games, any large games that have like some kind of theme, like Wheel of Fortune or Leave It or I Dream of Genie or something that's based on a television show. Those do tend to have the worst odds because they are um, they're they're based on a show. They had to pay rights for that show, so they tend to drop the odds down a little bit because of that. But you do get those, like as Kimber was saying earlier, those little those bonus moments that are a little bit fun here and there. It just depends. So I would say if you're looking for a machine to pay out, look for those older machines that aren't really that advanced, because they do tend to pay out better. Or if you want strategy, you go over to play blackjack or something like that, or poker.
Cool.
I'm so excited.
And I just can't hide it. How have you not heard The Gambler, though? Seriously. Oh, you know what? You're younger than Matt and myself. That's true.
I am.
Oh yeah, because you could hear us when we were having that conversation.
Oh, totes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
That's right.
oh boy.
Could you hear us singing too?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, great.
Yep. Sorry. I was on since 5 o'clock my time, so.
Oh goodness.
I hope we didn't say anything awkward.
Yeah, did I say anything bad about you?
No, I just heard Matt burping, but that was okay. So,
That's pretty scary.
we're used to that, so no big deal.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. She never heard
That's
The
so
Gambler.
funny. Well, I hope you enjoyed us singing.
You know what? It was fantastic. I loved it. You're not going to hear me sing unless we do karaoke, but even that I'm kind of scared of. Although, I still think we should get the Harry Potter trivia people together because my husband, like quite literally last name Potter, like he is a Harry Potter nutso. He knows the stuff like the back of his hand.
So here's the thing. Okay, we are now in talks of we're going to make an itinerary, and it's not going to be loaded full of stuff because we want people to do what they want on the cruise, but we're going to have like points of reference. Kimbra and Matt will be doing this at this time, or we're going to have the putt-putt tournament at this time, that sort of thing. We're trying to figure out when to do those, and it's like one of the things that we have talked about is we don't want to conflict with certain stuff, mainly Harry Potter trivia, because of course, Harry Potter
I mean, I am wearing
fanatic
my
over here.
Hufflepuff.
So having Kevin on board, I feel like gives them like almost 100% chance of winning. If that was gambling,
Well, then
we would have really good odds.
then there's going to be a fight over the ship on a stick.
Well, maybe they'll give us two.
Maybe
They'll give us two. Or we'll win multiple. You know what? We don't have to worry about that because Para DJ is going to be on the ship.
And they already have like 12.
J&D win.
They're like,
J&D
Did they
win
seriously?
5
Probably.
ships on a stick every single cruise. Because here's why, okay? Because Jay is like a walking encyclopedia and knows all the trivia. D can do, if they have any kind of singing thing, she's got that. Yeah, they're just full of talent. So they always get. They're always talking about, yeah, we gave some chips on a stick away, and they have been on the Pride multiple times, so they I'm sure have multiple chips on a stick. So we shouldn't have any issues
perfect. So,
divvying those.
real quick, because I know Scott has things to do, and I don't know when you need to leave, but I don't want to, like, keep you longer than you need to. But I put a poll up before we started this.
Like a stripper pole?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, not
Oh.
voting poll up on YouTube, and it was, how much time do you spend in a casino when you cruise? I felt like it was an appropriate poll, considering we were talking about casinos on a cruise ship.
Yes, I agree.
And the results are 32% of our listeners said none.
Okay.
What was that? There's 28 votes. So we got some people. Okay. 32% said most days.
So that's interesting. So that's like tied.
29% I stop in for a sec.
Okay.
And 7% said cruise ships have casinos.
So that tells me that most of our listeners do spend at least a little bit of time in the casino. More, that's over 50% if my math doesn't fail me, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like the casino is like a whole area I've never tapped into really.
I know. I mean,
I only gamble when my mom's on there, and
besides
that's the coin pusher, which isn't
besides
really
the last
gambling.
time that we were, like, I feel like the last time on the Horizon when we cruised, the most time I've spent.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, I've thrown away some money in a slot machine, but I always, I'm always like rationalizing, like, this is the odds are very, but I am intrigued by by these
Yeah.
other games. I would be
Well,
very
and
conservative
you
with
also
my
have
money, but I would do it.
yeah, you also have those other people that like, okay, what is the purpose of going on, say, for example, a transatlantic or a transpacific or a repositioning cruise? You're going to have so many days of at sea. You know, are you going to get sick of the shows? Are you going to get sick of activities that might be on? There's, you know, what other things can be done? That's where the casino comes in because you'll have
Mm.
that opportunity. If we do decide to go on this cruise coming up here in February, from Los Angeles to Hawaii and back, we got like that's gonna be like 6 at-sea days, and so in order to just kind of make it happen, I I would definitely want to make sure I'm bringing a gambling fund with me so that way I don't have a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that is like a whole other. It's like a whole other thing. I don't know. What is Sean giving me trouble about? Math, your maths do fail you because I filled in the last option because we do not gamble. Okay, that's fair. That's fair, Sean. I feel like wasn't Alana in the casino? Maybe not. I guess not.
Huh?
Is there what?
Sean and Alana on that group cruise, they didn't go in the casino at all?
I don't know.
I thought Alana was in there every night. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think she was. Just learn how to count cards, Matt. That's what Billy's saying. You know, I can count cards if they're in front of me, and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's about all I can do with that.
They started to mitigate areas of being able to do that. So, for example, in most casinos, they have what's called a shoe. It looks like a little plastic box, and they put like usually about 6 to 8 decks in there. So
Oh,
it's difficult to count if you do stuff like that. And then some of these newer casino locations have automatic shufflers that are shuffling the decks at all times. So it just never
oh,
stops.
okay.
That kind of sucks.
That will definitely change your ability to count cards.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, you got anything else?
No.
Well, then, in that case, Scott, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We are so looking forward to cruising with you twice this year. It is like really, we are really excited about that, and it's always a pleasure to hang out with you and talk to you and have you on podcast as well. So thank you for coming on and talking to us about a topic that we really don't know much about. So.
And as I said, coming up here with the March Cruise, if anybody has any questions about gambling or anything they want to know about, I'm very open to helping talk about it, and I'll even sit with them and work with them if that's anything that they want to even try.
Well, we have 57 days for you to teach me everything I need to know. So we're going to have lots of video chats. Be prepared.
Done and done.
And Scott, do you want to give people information on where they can find you in the World Wide Web?
Absolutely. The best place to find me is on YouTube at theprofessortravel.com, but I'm making a lot of short form videos as well. So if you are at all on TikTok, TikTok is where you'll find a ton of my stuff over the course of this last year, including stuff from the Caribbean, including stuff from Greece, including stuff from Turkey, including stuff from Southern California. It's all there. Again, it's under The Professor Travel. So please feel free. I'm there. I'm on Insta. I'm everywhere. It's a plague.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Scott, for joining us. I know Matt already said that.
Of course.
But
I can't wait to see you guys.
He always says things. Yeah. Oh, you want me to end it?
I was.
Well, on that note,
I mean,
it's time to celebrate. And until next time, seize the day.
all right. Good night, everybody. Are we going to come on? What do we have? We don't really have the end credits on this EV Mux thing, do we?
No, but
So-
we can drop Scott out so he can go bowl, and then you can talk about
Talk for a few minutes,
whatever you want to
and then
talk
we'll
about.
and then we'll let you guys get over to Down Under Cruisers. So,
Yeah.
all right. Bowl a turkey. No, that's you. A turkey's what you roll, right? 3 strikes.
No. That's 3 strikes in a row. That's exactly what you want to bowl. And to kind of embrace for that, we got a turkey collar. So just in case. So when I get a turkey, I get to throw that thing in the bowling alley, and they're like, "What is that sound?" So, anyways,
I confess, I only know the term turkey from Atari bowling.
it works.
I don't know if it was
Same principle.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, have a good evening, and we will see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Right.
Bye, Scott.
Right.
All right. Whoa.
Pull him down.
There we go.
Remove. There we go.
Bloop.
All right.
Okay, so so that was cool. Yeah, definitely check out the Professor Travel.
You didn't say have a fantastic.
Oh, I didn't.
I just want to point that out. You
have a fantastic week, everybody. Well, we're not doing the credits, so I'm all discombobulated.
But you made me say my thing.
Okay, well, now I said it. Have a fantastic
week,
day, month, year, decade,
said the
eon.
Sound was his connection. Yes, we do know that. But we were running late, and it took forever for us to figure out how to get him on, and then
which was not his fault.
No, it was the computers, the internet.
We don't know if it was EVMux. I don't know.
But once we got him on, the sound was there. He tried to fix it for a second, and I was like, you know what? We just get the sound.
We're already 10 minutes behind.
This is where we are.
Darn you, EVMux! Darn you! We thought we figured all your technical foibles out, and then you throw another foible at us, and we don't even understand why that foible
Paul likes my
was
hair.
A foible.
Is it doing something
I just like
fun?
to say foible.
I put it up in like a fun little flippy-do today.
Flippy-do?
Yeah, look, it's like, doing its thing.
So that was really cool to talk about that, because that is definitely a topic that I don't know really anything about.
Do you know how that came up, Matt? Do you know why we even had the Professor Travel on, besides to talk about gambling?
No.
So yesterday, I was at work, and Scott was like, hey, I have some travel agent questions. And I was like, cool. So we started a quick chat, and he started talking about all of his upcoming cruises and things in his life and coloring our hair and all that fun stuff. And then he told the story about his Vegas trip and winning money and going to see Adele. And he was like, that would be a really cool topic for you guys to have, is, to talk about.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Cruising or gambling on cruising. And I said, great, are you available tomorrow night?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And hey, look, I will say this too. If you are out there and you have a topic that you think would be really interesting, let us know what it is. And if it's something that you can speak to with a little bit of authority, it doesn't have to be a lot, let us know. Maybe we'll bring you on to the podcast, because we like to get different people on. And if you're like, well, you've never asked me to come on, don't take that personally. I just, there's people that I've never had on that I would love to have on, and I just haven't, because I'm like, they don't want to come on my podcast. So so don't be shy, is what I'm trying to say, basically. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your big news today?
My big news, I don't think most people really care too much about.
Probably not,
but I am wearing
you've been excited about it all day.
I'm very excited. I'm wearing my NoFX shirt, and that's because I bought stupid expensive VIP tickets to the last NoFX concert, which is going to have a bunch of other bands, and they're going to be here in St. Pete on that tour. And I got tickets that I'm going to be on the stage watching the concert, and I'm going to get my picture taken with the band, and there's some other little bits and bobs, and so I am super stoked. I did, yes, Stacy, I did. I got the bro package. And
Matt is now officially a bro.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird that NoFX uses that term, but I guess I don't know. I think it's different. Anyway, I probably spent more on this concert than I've spent on every punk rock concert that I've been to my entire life. That's probably not true, but it's probably not too far off either.
Well, if we go to the casino, maybe you can win back.
I know. And he was like, "Oh, he won $500." I'm like, "Okay, well then I'm almost even." So, yes, but obviously I'm a big NoFX fan. I've got the tattoo to prove it, and so I've seen them twice. And I've never been on the stage with them. I've always been very far away from them, which is weird, because when you're a fan of the punk rock and you're from the 80s, most of the bands that I love, I have been on the stage during the show, jumping off the stage with the stage dive thing, and I've met most of my rock star idols in person, and I've even driven some of them around in my car and went into the Arch with some of them. But NoFX had eluded me, because I kind of became a NoFX fan later in life than the other punk band. Anyway, I'm very excited about that.
And I will not be going.
No, because it's a lot of money to spend on you that would not enjoy it at all. Kevin says the laminate would be cool to have. At least in the old days, a laminate would get you backstage at almost any concert. Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like most of the concerts I went to back in the day didn't really have a backstage, like because when the show was over, like they were just hanging out, and we were just hanging out with them. Like that's kind of how it worked. Um, Back then, the venues were small. Most of the bands I saw were in venues that were like smaller than a roller rink, like a little pub. I don't know. Different times. That's not going to be the case with this. It's like I think Vinoy Park holds 15,000 people or something like that, or
Mhm.
yeah, something like that.
I don't
It's
know.
a lot. It's a
I
lot.
told Matt his day of punking is going to be. I'm gonna ask my mom to come down and spend a weekend with me.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I might need a couple days to recover. I will see, but yeah, I know, Stacy. My music is a little obscure, and if you're not into punk rock, you probably won't like it. But uh, now Ian is coming over here, and he's asking, "Do I need any supplies? Vegemite, Tim Tams? We are all set on Vegemite. I have a few jars of Vegemite,
You do.
and I have packets of Vegemite. Thanks to Down Under Cruisers for a good portion of that.
But Tim Tams.
And I can find Vegemite here to buy more of it. Tim Tams are a little bit trickier. They used to have them at the local grocery store, and they stopped carrying them. And I had gotten complacent with that. I was like, I could always get Tim Tams at the local grocery store. And then they just stopped carrying them at the grocery store we frequent. But I don't expect you to bring me Tim Tams. But if you did, but I don't really expect that.
But if you did.
But if you did, no. And what was crazy is like Sean and Alana didn't just bring Tim Tams; they brought like all these weird flavors,
Yeah.
and that I've never seen here. I think I've seen like 2 varieties of Tim Tams in the local Florida market.
The mint chocolate ones were really good. I
now
mean,
we-
they were all really good, but that was my favorite.
Yeah, now we have Oreos in every possible flavor you can imagine, and I don't know if I think Sean and Alana said that wasn't the case in Australia. That Oreos were kind of like you had a couple different varieties,
Yeah.
but so we do that with Oreos. What you guys do with Tim Tams? Now, if you can find some Vegemite flavored Tim Tams,
Oh. Why would you do that to Tim Tams?
oh my goodness,
That's an insult to Tim Tams,
Is
Matt.
it? Is it? I don't know. It might be. I don't. I mean, no offense, Tim Tams. Anyway,
Okay. Well,
that's all I've got.
that's all you've got?
Yeah, I think so. It's really cold in Florida. It is currently.
Paul said that's just gross. Agreed.
It's currently about 57 degrees Fahrenheit.
My watch says 53.
Oh,
so
well, I had to switch faces because I don't know where the oh, it's right there. Yeah, 53. Mine says that too. Which is cold for Florida, and it's going to get colder this weekend. It's going to be real flipping cold this weekend. So that's interesting. So, yeah.
Gigi said the look Kimbra just got.
Yeah,
I mean, Kimbra, why would you do that to Vegemite?
exactly, Ian. Exactly.
Nah.
Yeah. James says, that's not cold. Come here. It's 26 and snowing.
And
Yeah,
Stacey
no.
said 10.
10. Oh, no. No.
I'm struggling with 53.
Yeah. We were walking to the car after work today, and it was like
It was 59.
59, and I was like, I need a number. I need the temperature to start with a 7, at a minimum of a 7.
Thanks, JT.
50 in Polk City. And so it's cold. We're going to hang out with JT and Jennifer tomorrow. So do you have a fire pit, JT? You might want to make one because tomorrow will be perfect fire pit weather. By the way, JT, I'm bringing my smoker so we can smoke some bourbon. I don't mean like, put smoke in the bourbon. I don't mean,
Like a little flame you do.
yeah. That'd be a heat wave to us. That's what James says. It's going to be a high in the 30s tonight. Nope.
Kevin Count said, I think it's cold and it's officially 57 here. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah,
I might pick up some meat and bring it, since
that's on a need to know basis.
I was gonna get it today and put it in the fridge, but then that didn't happen. So we might have to stick it in the fridge for a minute. Stacy said they'll be
stick it
in
the
Miami
freezer.
tomorrow.
I know. I wish you guys were sailing. I mean, Miami's just so far away. If you were in Canaveral, we would possibly try and meet up. But Miami is too far for us to get tomorrow. But that's cool. I'm excited for you guys going on back-to-back cruises. That's something I have not done yet.
Yeah.
Is a back-to-back cruise. I can't get that much time off of work. That's the problem.
Todd still in here? Todd, if you're still
Todd,
in here, I want to know if you're
shaking
still
the
in
camera.
here.
Sorry about that. JT was doing some yard work.
But it was
windy and cold.
Yeah, it was.
And Ian says it's 25 here today, pleasantly warm. Yes, because you're talking Celsius there, so it's very different. If it was 53 Celsius, we'd probably be in trouble.
I don't think Todd's still here.
A heat wave.
But that's okay.
Wait, you know what's amazing? JT's still awake.
I know.
That is quite impressive, JT. All right. Well, it is 9:54. The Down Under Cruisers are going to be coming on in 6 minutes. And so we will sign out so you guys can head over there if you want to partake in some Down Under Cruiser goodness. And we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same batch channel.
What?
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat.
You don't get that reference, do you?
No.
She doesn't get that reference.
I'm sorry.
Mm.
Is that like a Batman thing?
Yes. Okay. The original television series, Batman, okay, which was, I think, 60s, maybe?
I wasn't alive then.
I know that. Neither was I, technically, in the 60s, so back off. Every time they would talk about, like, the end of the episode, they'd be like, or I think it was commercials, I don't remember exactly, but it was like, join us, same bat time, same bat channel. It was a different voice than that, but
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, JT, see, even I know that reference, and he wasn't either. Yeah, I wasn't born in the 60s.
Okay.
Okay. I was born in the same number I want the temperature to be. Stacy knows. Batman. I'm Batman.
You gotta say it right.
I'm Batman. That's not the Batman voice.
No,
That's like
I know.
The demon voice or something that you like, which is
all
creepy.
right.
Yeah, OG Batman wasn't the OG. It was color, but it was like
Oh, Brian just jumped
early
on.
color.
Brian, we are literally about to end.
We are.
We just learned all about casinos, though, and
Yes.
I'm gonna go gamble all my money away on my next cruise.
Yes. Wait, what?
All of Matt's money away on my next cruise.
Can you do the Batoozy? I could do the Watoozy. All right.
All right.
Good night, everybody. Happy cruise to Scott and Kevin. Happy cruise to Stacy and Gina, and happy cruise to anyone else who might be cruising in this next week.
Bye, y'all.
I don't know when Ian's. I know Ian's. It's not this week. He's coming over soon to cruise, but not yet.
Yeah, soon.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.